Good morning, all you booktubers and all you other YouTubers. I'm Michael Romeo, and I talk about books. Today, I am doing my farewell book haul. No, it's not a farewell from BookTube. I'm still going to be putting up content. It's my farewell from North Carolina, because I had a credit at Mr. K's Used Books here in Asheville, and it was for $45, and I figured, well, if I'm going to be moving out of state where there's no Mr. K's Used Books, I should go ahead and use this. Like, I need more books to move, right? But anyway, I wasn't going to let it go to waste. So I went yesterday to Mr. K's, and I got a book haul. $45 worth of paperbacks and hardcovers. All different styles and shapes and stuff. And I'm going to share them with you right now. One of my passions is short stories. I love short stories, and I've been ignoring them for a couple of years now because I've been caught up in BookTube reading novels and such, but I'm going to start getting back to short stories. And one of my passions is collecting short story collections, especially if they're ones that were used in a school environment. None of these are, but they're still short story collections. And I'm going to show you those first. The first one is a volume called American Short Story Masterpieces. And it has quite the lineup in it. And I'm going to read to you the list of authors that are in this book. Some great names, starting with no less than James Baldwin, who is a phenomenal writer. I'm so looking forward to reading this short story. Ann Beatty, Gina Berault, Vance Bourgeois, Richard Brautigan, Harold Broadkey, Carol Blythe, Raymond Carver, Evan S. Connell, Frank Conroy, E.L. Doctorow, Andre Debut, Stanley Elkin, Richard Ford, Tess Gallagher, John Gardner, Gail Goodwin, Lawrence Sargent Hall, Barry Hanna, Mark Halperin, Ursula K. Le Guin, Bernard Malamud, Bobby Ann Mason, James Allen McPherson, Leonard Michaels, Arthur Miller, Joyce Carol Oates, Flannery O'Connor, Grace Paley, Jane Ann Phillips, David Quammen, Philip Roth, James Salter, John Updike, Joy Williams, and Tobias Wolfe. I think it's going to be a good collection. That is a wonderful list of authors. And I am looking at, on the back, it says, this highly acclaimed collection of short stories by American writers contains only the best literary art of the past 4 decades, with a bias toward real, it says past 4 decades. Let's see when it was published. Okay, it was published in 1987. So this is all 20th century fiction, which is right up my alley. 4 decades. With a bias toward realism, editors Raymond Carver and Tom Jenks have selected fiction that tells a story, and tells it with a masterful handling of language, situation, and insight. But what is so special about this volume is that it mirrors our age, our concerns, and our lives. Whether it's the end of a marriage, as in Bobby Ann Mason's Shiloh, or the struggle with self-esteem and weight in Andre Debus's The Fat Girl. The 36 works include here probe issues that give us the shock of recognition that is the hallmark of great art, wonderful, absorbing fiction that will be read and reread for decades to come. Sounds like a good collection. I'm looking forward to it. The second short story collection I got was the Signet Classic Book of Southern Short Stories. I love Southern writers. The Southern writers are some of the best. There's just a feel to Southern writers that isn't captured by anybody else. And the people who wrote in this book: William Gilmore Simms, Augustus Baldwin Longstreet, Edgar Allan Poe, Susan Pettigrew King, George Washington Cable, Constance Fenimore Wilson, Charles W. Chestnut, Kate Chopin, Alice Dubner Nelson, Sarah Barnwell Elliott, Ellen Glasgow, Zora Neale Hurston, William Faulkner, Erskine Caldwell, Caroline Gordon, Robert Penn Warren, Richard Wright, Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings, Carson McCullers, Frank Yerby, Tennessee Williams, Eudora Welty, Nancy Hale, Truman Capote, Alice Childress, Elizabeth Spencer, Ellen Douglas, Ernest J. Gaines, Peter Taylor, another Flannery O'Connor, Diane Oliver, Arthur Botomps, Doris Betts, and Alice Walker. And the back of this one says, distinguished for its regional color and rich cultural complexity, the American South has long been a productive environment for great writers. This groundbreaking collection of 33 stories celebrates the astonishing richness and cultural diversity of Southern short fiction from the early 19th century to the present. From William Gilmore Simms' long-lost Confessions of a Murderer, a soliloquy from a prison cell that asks still controversial questions, to Alice Walker's Everyday Use, a moving tale of love and pride in a poor black family. These are works that reflect the whole scope of Southern short fiction and bring together in one volume some of the best writing in all of American literature. Southern fiction, short stories. And then the last short story collection actually ticks off 2 boxes. It's the stories of John Cheever, and it not only checks off short story collection, this is also a Pulitzer Prize winner. So it checks off my very slow moving project of reading all the Pulitzer Prize winners. And the back of this one is all reviews, so I won't bother reading just the reviews. But they're all the stories of John Cheever. And it's a Pulitzer Prize winner. Awesome. Next up, The Girl in a Swing by Richard Adams. He is the author of Watership Down and Plague Dogs and Shardik. And this one is one I haven't read yet. Actually, I haven't read anything of his. I just know about him by reputation. And this one says, her beauty stuns him and he is swept up in a love beyond imagination. She tells him nothing of her family and past. He does not care, for she is the most enchanting woman he has ever encountered, a seductress of erotic mystery and exquisite sexual genius. Impulsively, he marries her. And then the dread emerges. It begins as a trickle of unease over the eerie transformation of a small green pillow, nightmare images of drowning, the ghostly sounds of a sobbing child, until, little by little, he uncovers the nature of her dark, terrible secret. And on the front, it says, beautiful, haunting, erotic love, and an absolutely terrifying ghost story. I hope so, because I'm in the mood for a really good ghost story. So we'll give that one a go. And then we have, this is a volume, it's part of a series, Lives of Notable Gay Men and Lesbians. And this one focuses on T.E. Lawrence, otherwise known as Lawrence of Arabia. A dashing, exotic figure clad in Arab garb, T.E. Lawrence has captivated the public's imagination since his daring escapades in the Middle East during World War I. A quiet archaeology student who dreamed of nights and adventures, Lawrence discovered great freedom and opportunities in the Arab world and soon adopted Arab ways. His attachment to the Arabs spurred him to assume a leading role in the Arab revolt, fighting alongside Bedouin tribes as they swept to victory against the Turks. Though his heroics were much publicized, Lawrence's private life has been enshrouded in layers of fantasy and secrets. Author Daniel Wolfe delves into the stories surrounding the alleged rape of Lawrence by a Turkish official and explores his close friendship with men. His careful examination creates an unforgettable portrait of a man whose willingness to cloak his identity and suffer pain and deprivation contributed to his greatness. And it's a very skinny volume, and it's got pictures, so it'll be fairly short. It's pretty short. It's 146 pages of text, so that's going to be a quick read. And then I have In the Province of the Gods by Kenny Fries. And didn't know anything about this, saw it on the shelf, and the title caught my attention, so I picked it up. A disabled foreigner in Japan, a society historically hostile to difference, Kenny Fries finds himself on a journey of profound self-discovery. As he visits gardens, experiences No and Buto, and meets artists and scholars, he discovers disabled gods, one-eyed samurai, blind chanting priests, and atomic bomb survivors. When he is diagnosed as HIV positive, all his assumptions about Japan, the body, and mortality are shaken, requiring him to find a way to re-enter life on new terms. And yes, it is a memoir type book. Kenny Fries is writing about himself. And just it sounded intriguing to me. So we're going to give that a shot. In the Province of the Gods. One of the books on my 2024 favorite books of the year was Ragtime by E.L. Doctorow. It's not the only E.L. Doctorow. It's the second E.L. Doctorow that I've read. The first one was Andrew's Brain, which was also an awesome book. This one is an E.L. Doctorow, City of God. Now this one's going to be a bit of an adventure because the back only has a photo of the author, and the inside pages don't give you anything at all as far as a description of the book. So I have no idea what this book is about. And I thought, that'll be an adventure. Reading a book, not knowing anything about what to expect. And I suppose I could go to Goodreads and read a thumbnail or whatever, but I'm going to keep this one a mystery. And I did that once before when my employees at a job I had for my birthday gave me a novel, and for the life of me I can't remember the name of it, but it was an older novel from the beginning of the 20th century. Had no dust jacket, nothing. All it was the title and the author. And I dove into the book and never had heard about it before. I didn't bother looking it up, and I just read and discovered the book page by page and learned what it was about. And it turned out it was about the British and French civilians who were caught up in Napoleon's war. And it was quite an adventure. I thoroughly enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the feeling of discovery as I went through the pages. And I'm hoping this is going to be the same kind of experience. I got another E.L. Doctorow as well. Got Billy Bathgate, which is supposed to be really good. I know this one was shortlisted for the Pulitzer Prize, but I don't think it did. But it definitely didn't win. Open this book and enter through his own words the perilous, thrilling world of Billy Bathgate, the brazen boy who has insinuated himself into the inner circle of the notorious Dutch Schultz gang to become good luck charm, apprentice, and family protege to one of the great murdering gangsters of his time. Meet the low-browed gunman Lulu Rosencrantz, the fastidious Irving, precise in everything he does from mixing drinks to disposing of dead men. The financial genius Abadaba Berman, who invents a way to change the day's winning numbers at the last moment. And of course the kid who was once known to the Bronx as Arthur Flagenheimer, the man now known to the world as Dutch Schultz. Like an urban Tom Sawyer in a world of horrors, Billy has come down from the tenement streets of the East Bronx to live in the glamorously evil Depression underworld that Schultz has created. It is a world of storm-tossed tugboat rides through the dark night of New York Harbor as a gang member is about to be ceremonially drowned, his feet in a bucket of setting cement, on 7th Avenue window washers falling mysteriously from their scaffolds, of 3-day parties in West Side brothels, and visits to the blue-lit nightclubs that are the beat of Broadway columnists. It is a world of elegant societies, cunning Tammany ward healers, mobsters, bankers, lawyers, and men of the cloth. Black Packards cruise the streets, and not even infants in their carriages are safe from the bullets of warring gunmen. In a prose that astonishes with its lyric intensity, Billy makes us intimate of his fateful adventures within the world of Dutch Schultz, as we move with him into ever deeper dimensions of horror and exhilaration. As he offers up his soul ever more recklessly, Billy reveals this world to us as the brutal, eroticized, facile, and morally startling place that it is. The luminous transformation of fact into fiction that became E.L. Doctorow's trademark in Ragtime. The eerie evocation of collective dreams that haunted Loon Lake and World's Fair come to triumphant fruition in Billy Bathgate. Here is Doctorow's masterpiece, combined with stunning force, his tremendous powers, illuminating history as myth and transforming the half-understood, haunting, remembered materials of our culture into brilliant art. The result is one of those rare books of recognition that tell us how we have become what we are. Billy Bathgate, a capable boy, in the words of Dutch Schultz, will live in the minds of E.L. Doctorow's readers for many years to come, a fixed star in the American universe, as poignant and mysterious as American life itself. And this book dates from 1989. I didn't look at City of God, and City of God goes back to it's the first edition. Look at that. Where's the date? It says first edition, but there's no date. So I don't know how old this book is. I believe it's a 20th century novel as well, which of course is my specialty. Girl in a Swing by Richard Adams is 1980, 20th century book. So I'm doing good with getting my 20th century books bought. Okay, next one up. I love the works of Leon Uris. This is one I've never read. O'Hara's Choice. And this one, I think might be a 21st century. This one came out in 2003. Yeah, so this is a 21st century book, and it's another first edition. Look at that. And this one says, 50 years after his first novel, Battle Cry, took the world by storm, Leon Uris returns to the topic that first inspired him to write books that captivate, educate, and thrill, the Marine Corps. In the years following the Civil War, first-generation Irish-American Zachary O'Hara, son of a legendary Marine and a force of a man in his own right, finds himself playing a critical role in the very future of the Marines. If he can persuade the Secretary of the Navy that the Marines are more crucial than ever to America's safety and security, all the while hefting a heavier secret weight in his heart, he'll save the Corps and make his career. But there's an obstacle in his path that this warrior had not planned on. Amanda Blanton Kerr, the daughter of a ruthless industrialist, is a woman on a mission of her own. Passionate, obstinate, and whip-smart, she's an heiress poised to blaze a trail for her sex. O'Hara's Choice is the story of the inevitable collision of these two handsome, fighting spirits, getting their soul's desire could jeopardize everything they and their parents before them scraped and struggled to achieve. I think it's going to be good. I love Leon Uris' books. He's a phenomenal writer. He's right up there with James Clavell, James A. Michener. Just spins wonderful webs of tales. And then my pièce de résistance is a compilation of 5 complete novels by John D. Macdonald, and they're all Travis McGee novels. Now, if you've never read the Travis McGee series, you really need to give it a try. They are some of the best crime novels ever written. He wrote them starting in the 1950s, and the last one was written, I think, in 1980 or 81. And these are 5 of them. And of the 5, that are listed on here, I've only read one of the 5. So I figured it's worth buying to get the other 4. And I'll probably read that other one again, too. The Travis McGee novels are, like I said, crime fiction at its best. He is a taught, disciplined storyteller. There's no unnecessary flesh on the bones. You can take it that if you're reading it on the page, it's going to be important in the story somewhere. And the books that are included here are The Dreadful Lemon Sky, The Empty Copper Sea, Free Fall in Crimson, The Green Ripper, and A Tan and Shady Silence. And let's see what it says about it on the inside. That's pretty good. This was originally published at $45.75. I got it for $5. Yeah. Travis McGee, cruising the waterways of Florida in his boat, the Busted Flush, sails into and out of danger on a regular basis. A little battered by and cynical from his time in the salvage business, as he calls his profession, McGee is still a man ladies lust after, and still a man with a little too much sensitivity to sit back and let an injustice pass. The punches may hurt a little more, but Travis McGee is still very much involved in adventure and mayhem. In A Tan and Shady Silence, Harry Brohl surfaces from McGee's past, accusing him of running away with the current Mrs. Brohl, a woman named Mary. Although close to Mary in the past, McGee hasn't a clue as to where she has vanished, but sets out on the complicated trail to find her. The past comes back to haunt McGee again in The Dreadful Lemon Sky, when Carrie Milligan arrives at 3 a.m. with $104,200 in cash. Because McGee is the only man she trusts, Carrie asks him to hold the money, and McGee agrees for old time's sake. But 2 weeks later, Carrie is killed in an accident, and McGee is convinced it's murder. All he has to do is find a motive and the murderer. When Hub Lawless falls overboard off the Florida coast, it looks like a simple case of drowning in the empty copper sea. However, the skipper isn't so sure. Lawless's insurance company has $2 million worth of doubts, and McGee smells a skillful scam. Unraveling the truth of the not-so-empty sea provides McGee with almost more adventure than he can handle. McGee's world of surf, sand, and sun is cruelly shattered in The Green Ripper. Gretel, the woman McGee loves, is casually murdered, and as he investigates the cold and impersonal death, McGee uncovers the horrific activities and plans of a fanatic religious cult called the Church of the Apocrypha. The events in The Green Ripper, the most savage and suspenseful in his career, leave Travis McGee a changed man. When tycoon Ellis Esterland is killed at a rest stop on the Florida Turnpike, the question of who will inherit his money causes a chain of deaths across the country. McGee steps in to straighten out the tangle in Free Falling Crimson, traveling to Beverly Hills where he enlists the aid of the queen of TV game shows, back to the Florida boondocks in an unexpected partnership in a motorcycle business, and finally to Rosedale Station, Iowa, where the filming of a movie on hot air ballooning provides surprising answers to McGee's questions. The 5 Travis McGee stories in this collection will provide fascinating reading for his loyal fans and will further introduce McGee and his unique personality to those who are just discovering him. A lot of authors, like Stephen King, Dean Koontz, just drew a blank, the guy who wrote Jack Reacher, and several others, list John D. Macdonald as one of their biggest influences when they were growing up. He is an incredible writer. And the Travis McGee series, you can't go wrong. So, that's my farewell to North Carolina book haul. Next month, I am moving to Florida. And I will move these books as well as all the others I have. And I think I'm in for some good reading this year. And we'll talk to you again later. Bye.